Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo301 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today we're going over the top 5 stages of owning a Quest 3. Now it doesn't matter if you recently got into VR or you're upgrading, I guarantee you're going to fit into one of these categories and this should be a fun little video to go over. Now there are of course the links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by the third-party mobile app store SideQuest. SideQuest is an absolutely fantastic way to get your hands on VR games that haven't made it to Meta's App Store yet or are still currently in a testing phase. Now, while you're out there giving new games a try, you should definitely go ahead and jump into the new social application, Banter, that's been developed by the SideQuest team. It features physical interactions similar to Bone Lab and social interactions like VR chat. Now, making this experience even better is the fact that the team is randomly giving away Quest 3s to people who are online currently playing Banter. This is going on until January 19th, so make sure to jump in as soon as possible. And for more information about Banter and their giveaways, go check out their Discord channel. There's a link down in the description. Now, I'd love to hear down in the comments what stage you're currently in, but just about every single person starts off with, that's right, unless you're dead inside, the initial reaction to VR is this is amazing. Even if you previously owned an earlier generation VR headset, upgrading to those super sleek pancake lenses that provide edge-to-edge clarity is a huge boost to the overall experience. But even bigger is the impact to an absolute VR noob. You'll feel like you're being physically transported to a whole new world. Room scale, or rather the ability to freely roam around your room while playing games, combined with motion controls, will give you a new level of immersion you've never experienced before. You'll also quickly realize this is not your typical couch potato style of gaming, as the vast majority of titles out there will have you breaking a sweat. Now, how long that overall amazing stage lasts varies person to person. For some, it's just a brief honeymoon phase, while others never truly lose that magical sensation. Now, a new stage that's specific to the Quest 3 that people jump into rather quickly is the mixed reality stage. The Quest 3 is the first headset to truly prioritize mixed reality, and Meta is truly pushing these type of experiences. Previous headset owners will check through their existing library, looking for any title that's added a mixed reality mode, and then go see what it has to offer. This includes games like Aspire 2 VR Operative, Drop Dead the Cabin, Demio, or many other previously released games. Now, mixed reality will definitely have you running around your house like an idiot, just like this. Now, while you're running through all of these new virtual and mixed reality experiences, you may or may not experience the adjustment stage. Some people could be fairly overwhelmed by VR or suffer from a bit of motion sickness. From here, things tend to vary widely. The majority of people will enjoy VR enough to keep playing and eventually get more and more accustomed to it. They'll understand their limits and find a nice balance. Unfortunately though, a very small percentage of people can just never get past motion sickness, and this is either where their journey ends or they just stick to very specific titles. So it doesn't matter if you're becoming a VR fanatic at this point or the games you enjoy is extremely limited. In both cases, it leads you to the same stage, which is the finding your game stage. The game stage is where your overall playstyle and subjective likes or dislikes kick into place. Many people fall into distinct subcategories. The casual gamer just wants to jump in and have some fun. This could be a few rounds of Beat Saber, Walkabout Mini Golf, or plenty of the other hundreds of games currently available on the Quest 3. Meta's overall game library is very casual and co-op friendly. If you need a bit more action and blood and guts, there's games like After the Fall and Arizona Sunshine. If that's too violent, you could try something like Ghostbusters VR or Dungeons of Eternity. There's honestly plenty of titles that are just good old-fashioned drop in and drop out fun. Now, if you're in the competitive category, there's also plenty of excellent options. Ghost of Tabor is an excellent extraction shooter that has the unique side effect of making you quite paranoid and ready to shoot first and ask questions later. If you prefer more of a military sim, there's Onward. For the Battle Royale fans, there's Population 1. Or if you don't enjoy shooters altogether, there's plenty of different ways to compete with games like the tabletop experience, Demio Battles, Rocket League style gameplay from titles like Ultimax or Knock, and even trading card battles from Cards and Tankards. Now, some people prefer to use VR to socialize, and once again, there's plenty of great experiences here. Rec Room is a great option, which also offers up a large array of minigames. VR Chat is extremely popular with tens of thousands of daily players, and there's a pretty insane amount of user-generated content. Some people have even gone to the point of practically living a second life in VR Chat, and HBO even created a documentary about this called We Met in Virtual Reality. And finally, Meta has their own social space, Horizon Worlds. Now, there's also a handful of other addictive titles out there like Gorilla Tag that are kind of hard for me to categorize. It can be highly competitive, social, but also somehow casual. I don't really understand the Gorilla Tag community, but to each their own. Now, this is also the stage where people realize they could work out in VR, and they start jumping into titles like Supernatural, Les Mills Body Combat, or even Thrill of the Fight on a daily basis. So for the vast majority of people, this is the stage you'll remain in the longest. There are, however, some questers who won't be happy with the device and will give up at this point, or others who just truly enjoy more of a AAA experience, so they only pick up the headset for big name releases like Asgard's Wrath 2 or Resident Evil 4. So the headset will definitely see a lot of downtime. Now, for those unwilling to wait for new games but want to keep playing, they tend to move into the I want more stage. Overall, this can be a ridiculous rabbit hole. It can involve building a PC and diving into all the awesome games that previously released for PC VR, or even the flat to VR mod scene. In other cases, it'll lead you down a different hardware rabbit hole. You'll start looking at things like the B-Haptic tack suit, treadmills from suppliers like Catwalk, or even motion simulation chairs from Your VR. Before you know it, you might end up looking like Genghis VR, with one suit that electrocutes you, another one that vibrates, a wireless VR headset, and you find yourself on a stripper pole. Yeah, things can escalate pretty quickly in the VR world. All joking aside, some people who truly love VR just can't get enough and are constantly trying to find ways to make the overall experience better and better. In truth, it's hard to force progress, and if VR doesn't do it for you right now, either it's just not right for you, or maybe you have to wait a few years and come back as the technology progresses. So let's just do a really quick recap here before we end the overall video. The vast majority of people will start off with VR going, wow, this is amazing, my mind is blown, and they'll quickly want to check out that new technology mixed reality. Now you'll stay in that phase for a little bit, you'll probably be amazed for a honeymoon period, a month or so. Some people, like I said, stay in it. Personally, I've been doing VR for 8 years now, and every once in a while, I'll turn on an experience and just, have that same sense of wow. Before you move on, you go, wait a second, I can't handle VR that well. I'm doing these games that are free locomotion. I start moving with the thumbstick and my stomach can't handle it. So you have your overall adjustment phase. But the vast majority of people do stick with it. They learn their limits, they get used to VR, and now they're looking for more, and they kind of find their game. Are you competitive? You got your Onward, your Ghost of Tabor. There's plenty of other titles like Hyper Dash, whatever it may be. Now, competition's not for you. You like co-op? Plenty of games there too. Back to the Blood and Guts with After the Fall. Not for you? Maybe Ghostbusters VR, Dungeons of Eternity. I personally love that game. Great co-op fantasy RPG experience. And if you love VR, you didn't put the headset down, you want to keep going, you move into the, well, what else is there stage? I want more stage. You might look into PC VR. There's a great back catalog of games, like everyone should experience Half-Life Alyx, but there's other games like Lone Echo. So it goes on and on. Plus, the flat to VR mod scene is exploding in the last year plus. They just released the Universal Mod Injector. So basically any Unreal Engine game can be experienced in VR. Or you go down the hardware rabbit hole. How do I make my experience better with hardware? You get a haptic suit. You get a motion simulation chair. There's different ways to do it, whatever it may be. And that right there was the rapid version of the stages of owning a Quest 3. Now, you may be in one of those stages for an extended period of time. You may skip a stage like the adjustment phase. You may never find your final form or look for more because you give up too early. But basically, that's it. I want to know where you guys are right now. Where do you sit when it comes to these 5 stages in your overall Quest 3 experience? Let me know down in the comments. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.